distortions on the market created by lack of clarity are very dangerous, and that the regional development concept is not sufficient enough as it is being presented to support lack of clarity of aviation guidelines.
We want a more economic-based approach. We want to avoid the duplication of airports, hence the need for this idea of a catchment area. We want to ensure that airports have a business plan, even the smallest ones. We need as strict as possible an application of the principle of prohibiting operating aid. But like all good rules, you need some exceptions. We see the need for exceptions for very small airports in islands, for example, or remote regions. There should be no point of principle, there should be no transfer of public funds to airlines. Airports must be recovering at least marginal costs.
Quand on habite à Bruxelles toute l'année et que le temps n'est pas toujours fabuleux, c'est toujours agréable de passer un week-end à Florence pour 5 euros ou 10 euros. Le problème, c'est que si on vole à Florence pour 10 euros ou 20 euros, est-ce que ça correspond au coût économique? Probablement que non. Donc si on ne paye pas, c'est que quelqu'un d'autre paye. Et généralement, le quelqu'un d'autre, c'est le taxpayeur. Et la difficulté, c'est que si c'est le taxpayeur qui paye, qu'est-ce qui se passe à l'aéroport qui éventuellement est à 50 km ou à 100 km et qui lui est en concurrent?
The new guidelines, in our view, should set stricter conditions for operating aid, either to the airports or to the airline. In particular, when the airport concerned is not a true regional airport in the basic sense, but rather a secondary airport located in the same catchment area as other airports. We should do away with this fruitless investment race between different communities to develop underutilized airport infrastructure and in the same catchment areas or within airport networks.
We've also heard that you can't fund a ticket if you only paid €1, so somebody else must be. That is not true. And if we have any airports here, more and more of their revenues come from non-aeronautical charges. So yes, our members do negotiate contracts with these airports, but they are usually tied to guaranteed delivery of growth of a number of passengers, extremely ambitious, and they have penalty if that growth isn't delivered.
I don't believe, particularly, at least from our perspective, that state aids at regional airports do distort competition, because I maintain that actually, despite their numbers today, airports, for the most part, so we underline this, are monopolies, and they are mostly public as well.
Aviation infrastructure, like any other major network infrastructure, must be funded by public money at all time of their development. This is required to achieve economies of scale to the benefit of the entire European economy. Restricting the use of public funds for airport infrastructure is not only discriminating the air transport sector from the other modes of transport, but it is also in sharp contrast with the amount of public money which is invested in airport infrastructure in other regions of the world.
We see a clear abuse of the guidelines, and especially for airports which are in the same catchment area of other airports. This, of course, has led to an important distortion of competition and even a cannibalization of traffic.
We are not alone, and if we cannot push the other ones to follow exactly our strict rules, we also need to adapt for, at the end, not shooting in our feet. And we have to pay attention and to keep the main goal we should have in Europe is to have a European industry which is stronger. And here it should be the main goal.
We are against a race of subventions, so we don't want really to have a battle between airports on subventions. But we are against excluding aviation totally from state aids and also excluding bigger airports from state aids.
We don't think that these very small airports will be able to transform their business model in the manner envisaged by the Commission. And therefore, in our view, the proposal to completely phase out operating aid below 1 million passengers could lead to rapidly increased airport charges if they tried. 10% per year was mentioned by John Hanlon, and that would simply not be accepted by air carriers.
Je pense que les règles doivent s'appliquer, en effet, aux aéroports qui ont un certain seuil de trafic qui leur permet d'avoir véritablement la logique d'une entreprise. Par contre, il faut permettre aux petits aéroports, finalement, d'atteindre cette taille pour rentrer dans cette logique. Mais encore faut-il que le système soit vertueux et qu'on permette à ces petits aéroports d'atteindre cette taille.
Are we really to turn aviation business into kind of public business? Is it really what has to happen? What is happening to us? I think the whole art of doing business in aviation now is getting more money from the public funds. Is that the really future for us?